What would you do if your life did not turn out exactly like it was promised? You followed all the rules, you did your part, checked all the boxes, and hit all the milestones set out for you even before you could speak. But then something just doesn't click into place. That was the basis of a conversation I had with two amazing women. They did everything right, and at this point in their lives, they had hoped to be in a thriving career, handling business, and rushing home to break up screaming contests, feed their kids, and put them to bed. However, they're now in a place where they're constantly reminded that their time is running out to become those women, and most importantly, mothers that they had hoped to be by now. Now in their late 30s and early 40s, is it really too late for them? This is Mama Tales, a podcast on our collective motherhood journey. I'm your host, Sally Kuria. I have recently found myself intrigued by how different our generation is to the one our parents lived in. We end up being in conflict because we do things differently than they did. They end up having expectations, and this reflects society's expectations as well. But what happens if situations out of your control make it difficult to fit the mold? I had the pleasure to sit down with two women whose identities will remain unknown and listen to them speak candidly about their journeys towards motherhood. A journey that has so far been unforthcoming.
To understand why we are here today, how would you describe where you're at in life? Whoever wants to start.
From what context?
From the context of what has brought us right now. Yeah, we could talk about your age, your mental status right now, things that are worrying you, things that you're pretty okay with, you're happy about. Actually, like starting with the happy parts. Then on to the, if you describe your life right now. Yeah.
Well, I think for me, the happy part is I'm very in love with my partner. He's the person that I really want to wake up to when I'm 60. Which is just 20 years from now. But anyway, yeah. And in terms of my career, well, I think I could do better in terms of my career. So maybe a little bit more of pushing and trying to make sure that I seize every opportunity. We are trying to have a baby. So I think the narrative that I don't like is, you just have to relax, it will happen. Honey.
You have been relaxed for how long?
Like, I hate it. The other day I was talking to my friends, the way you talk to some of your friends.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, go see this certain lady. She talks about holistic medicine and all that. So I took a drive. When I get there, I'm expecting her to tell me, I want you to, because they have like fertility, I don't know, juices or something. She's like, I'm not going to sell you anything. You're very fertile. Just go home and relax.
So after we've taken the long drive, the same story you're being told by her.
And then
the reason why I'm here is because I am not.
Yeah.
I have been relaxing.
Just
maybe relaxed too much.
I've relaxed. Now the point of relaxation has ended. Oh
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
In a nutshell, that's where I am right now. Yes.
And for context, how old are you?
I'm 40.
You're 40.
I would say unfulfilled.
Okay. Why?
I'm not where I want to be in my career. That's one, but that's something that is like I'm working towards, and maybe your podcast is going to be off in another tangent, but that's
please, madam, just it's okay. Your space.
So I was just having I was looking at my group of friends and seeing, wow, you guys have really. Like you did, you like the milestones you're expected to hit, you're hitting. right now, right? You were manager by 30. You're working at this international organization. At 30, I was unemployed.
And they're changing jobs.
They're changing jobs, high level, high profile.
Yeah.
They'd just finished their master's degree, so everything was working right for them. I was like, okay. By 30, my very close, my inner circle, most of them are married.
Okay.
Unfortunately, of that circle, only one is still holding strong. But you see, at that time, it's devastating. It's everything. All the milestones we're supposed to be hitting, I haven't hit. And then now, of late, because I'm not partnered. I'm 38. I'm not partnered. But I still do want to have a child. They're coming back to a quiet house.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Get tissues. That's
And
hard.
No one talks about it.
Yeah.
I remember my younger sister has a number of children. I don't want to say how many, so that somebody's saying, oh, yeah. Yeah. And she got married when she was quite young. And she's just been popping babies.
Yeah.
You know? And yes, we look at genetics. We say, because she's popping babies. But you see, she started when she was very young.
Yeah.
You know, like she was quite young. So, and then there's the society. Like every time she pops a baby, people are like,
they're looking at you.
you know,
Yeah, like okay, that's a that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
And you see, my sister, because I'm older than her with quite a few years, and because the other day is when we were discussing about now trying to like have a baby, and she's like, oh, finally, I'm tired of people asking me when your sister is having children. So I'm like, oh my God, people have been asking, but she has never told me.
Yeah, she was,
shielding
you from that.
Yes. She's like, finally now people stop asking me like, so-and-so has not gotten a baby. What is she planning? You know, so you can imagine how many voices are behind that you don't know about. You know, my own mother would never ask. I mean, she's been to school. So even one time we were with a relative, and then the relative turned and said, and you, what is your plan? When when are we seeing anything from you? And then my mother's like, everyone is running their race. When are you giving us another child? You know, so she shifted the conversation.
Yes, she's protecting
that's
you.
a great mom.
Yeah, that's very protective.
Yeah, but I know inside.
Yeah.
So
Still questions. I think for us it was much more difficult. We're 4 children, and my siblings really started having children later in life, right? I'm the last born. So my mom was feeling the peer pressure for her. She's not a grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they go to this mama's meeting.
Yeah. It's like, so her, she's not a grandma. Anyway, so one of my brothers had the first child when he was 36, which is really considered old.
Exactly.
36. One of my other brothers had his son when he was 40. My sister had her baby at 38, but she had been married for 8 years.
Okay.
Now the problem is because she got married smack bang at 30. She got married just a few days after her 30th birthday, and then they didn't. So year 1, no baby. Was like, okay, maybe the couple is trying to get to know each other. Year 2, no baby.
No rush.
Year 3, year 4, year 5. Now, that one is barren. That one is barren. Literally, they were saying that. And that's because we were living in the same estate, generally. So the people who we grew up with kind of know us.
Yeah.
So that's the conversation that they were having until they saw my and then now, because my sister at the time was a little bit on the plus side. So when her belly started coming in, they just thought she was getting...
Oh my God. Because they'd already cast her as barren.
Yeah.
People
So now
cast
she's
you
getting
out
fat.
after 6 months.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So now her belly started showing around the 6th month. So like, oh, kumbe she can actually have kids. Na kwa nini alikaa sana? Why did she stay for so? And you don't know the struggles people have.
Yes.
When
Yes.
it comes to having a baby. So
Yeah. You know, that's the thing that is we can't ignore, right?
Yeah.
Society will always have opinions. And this comes back to like the milestones that you brought up that we were told that we have to achieve, right? You finish high school,
you get your degree, you get your first job,
yes,
you go get your master's. Everything seemingly
should go
should go on the right
As
track.
if we have control of life.
you know,
if you have
and
the
then after
control
that
of
is when
life,
you're
yeah.
like, now you'll find this husband who's been waiting for you, and then you start popping these babies.
And you know, because where I'm from, they kept on asking, you know, kwani Nairobi haujaona mtu? It's like, Nairobi, you haven't seen anyone.
Yeah.
Just bring for us someone. It doesn't matter if they're very educated. I'm like,
Okay.
There's
so much there to
That's
unpack.
great
Yeah.
for your child.
Yes, not for me.
That's great for
Yeah.
your child.
Yeah.
And we're not saying I'm not elitist. And I am not unaware of the fact that some of the richest people in this country, in the world, really didn't get that PhD or masters or whatever. But you know that book, Nearly All Men in Lagos Are Mad?
Mad, yes.
Nearly all men in Nairobi
I should read
are
that
mad.
book.
Yeah.
Are mad. If you don't have
You should.
multiple baby mamas, you have unresolved mommy and
Yeah.
daddy issues, or you're dealing with red pill people,
Mm.
or you're dealing with misogynists, or even worse, what I've come to find out now, you have men who want to be kept.
See, but you're strong, independent women.
I have never said that. Excuse, I am not strong. I am not
not
independent.
independent.
In fact, I'm a last born.
Yeah,
Okay?
I
I'm a
know.
last born. Me,
Yeah.
I want to be taken care of. And especially for firstborn daughters, it should be even worse. Firstborn daughters.
Yeah.
No. Please,
Yeah.
you have struggled. Even you should get some softness in life.
In
So,
life. Yeah.
yeah, it's weird. And I know we came here to talk about kids, but
But this is
you
part
don't
of it.
you don't want
Yeah.
to just have a baby with just
Anyone.
anyone.
Because this is a lifetime commitment. You understand?
It's a lifetime commitment. And now the older I become, the more I understand my mom when she asks, how watu wa kwao wanakuanga aje?
Interesting
Those
question.
people from
Yeah,
there, how
yeah,
are they?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because I used to think that's that's such a backward
Oh,
Yeah.
form of thinking, and you have to like, okay, how are you in your family?
It's
Because
true.
one of my best friends right now is going through a terrible thing in her marriage, and this was a couple that when we went in high school, they were the it couple. That guy was the it.
Yeah.
And we were so proud and so like envious of her. Like, imagine you came from this Ushago, you've met someone in Nairobi who comes from around the same region you're at. He's a good guy, he's responsible, hajaruka ball.
It's perfect.
10 years down the line, and you come to realize that they actually have a lot of unresolved and undiagnosed mental illness problems
Yeah.
in their home,
Yeah.
in their genealogy, that they don't want to treat. Nobody, like, if you go through mental illness, it's not your fault. But
Yeah.
if you don't want to treat it, it is your
Then
fault.
no, it's your fault. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So the older I become, yes, I want a child, but the people from who like
who are these people?
who are
yeah,
these people?
yeah, because you can't. I mean, if we could, we would have children alone.
Yeah.
But you cannot have a child.
You can't
alone.
have a child alone,
And
and
it
that
can't-
child will carry 50% of that
Yes.
other guy's DNA
and everything that he comes.
and everything that he comes with.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
how are they like? Where they are coming from?
And on another angle, women our age, when you say I've met someone, where was he all those years? How old is he? You say he's 40.
What
And he has
was
never
he?
married.
And he doesn't have a child.
No, there's a
What
problem.
was wrong with him?
So it's
When did you meet your partner?
it's been 2 years now.
Yeah.
Okay, he has a child.
Okay.
You know. And then you're like, he was married before. What happened to his previous? That's the problem. So you're like, what?
But I'm trying to figure out my life right now.
know.
This is not the
Another
support I
thing,
need.
you say, his wife died. That's a spirit. Be careful.
Gosh.
So it's not his fault. It's not his fault. And we understand that men or people do kill their spouses. We know that. But like in your situation, that's not what happened.
Yes. So you are thinking like, oh my goodness, how do I ever get it right? And then also in the Kenya that we live in, especially from my family.
Yeah.
Where is he from? Now they're trying to ask the
tribe.
You don't dare say from a certain part of the country.
Yeah.
No. Imagine, just be patient. Someone will come. But that
Must you date from that?
Yes.
My mom has told me. I can say it. I'm Luo. My mom has said, as long as usinilete mkisi. And I'm like, okay, what's wrong with kisses? And then no good kissy man. I've seen good kissy men.
Yeah.
And then like wakisi hata wakalenjin pia ni wabaya. Hata pia usilete waluya pia. And my mom is Luya. So like, why are you refusing your own tribe's people? It's like naho kwanga na mila mingi sana. And then also because don't bring a man from South Nyanza. So now we have gone even
further.
Even further. So like
so you're supposed to find a partner. This is great. So you have this pool.
Yes.
And then but not from here, okay. And then not. So miraculously the perfect person should just appear.
And you're not supposed to marry from the same village because that could be a cousin. I'm like at this point, guys, find me a husband. The one that you want, bring that one. Arranged marriage.
As you always wayaki wait. No. Then just even go through Thika Road, but don't go to Wayaki way. You're like, oh God.
Yeah,
no.
that's half of the country.
And you see, sometimes the conversations go on, but people don't ask aftermath, after you guys have left there, what you're left thinking. Also, we've grown up in a very insensitive society, and I think unknowingly, because of the Kenya that we have, we've become very tribal without knowing.
Yeah.
Because you'll say, my name is so-and-so. Maybe you've said your English name, my name is Elizabeth. They want to know the second name so that they can know which part of the country that you're from.
And then figure out how to treat you.
Thank you.
Yes. That happens all the time. Yes.
So it's the same thing when you say, I found so-and-so. So the one thing age is very liberating. Oh my God. Age, I don't miss my 20s. No. Sorry for lack of a better word. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
You're worried about how you look, how your eyebrows look, honey. Please, there's more to life. I don't even miss my 30s because my 30s were comparison. So-and-so has this.
That's where I am right now. It's a lot of comparison.
Yes. So-and-so has bought a car. And you're like, oh my goodness.
And they just haven't bought a car. They've bought a German machine.
Yes.
So it's like, Mimi sina gari.
Yes. You're there. You're route 11. And you're like, oh my goodness. Let me tell you, the day you buy a car, people start treating you differently.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you buy a nice car. It's like, and you're like, material things.
Yeah.
So for me, age has been very liberating. I don't care the tribe my partner is. We love each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what
how
matters.
he treats me, that's all what matters. My relatives are content. Imagine it's not my business. You know, I look at where I'm from. Sorry to say, my uncles, my cousins, the male version, they are horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
To their spouses. And like I asked one of my uncles, so you want me to get someone from where we're from? Yes. Then treat them the same way you treat your wife.
Yeah.
You know, it caught him off guard. I'm like, I'm not a child anymore, so let's have a civil conversation. So it's a stereotype.
Yeah.
Whether this was, I think the only thing I'm always very keen with is religion. Because I am very spiritual. I have never been ashamed to say that of my belief. So when you tell me to no, that one, it will be overstepping my boundaries.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But starting saying, someone is from this side, and you see that's what our 20s are. You meet someone who's like, no.
And let me tell you something. Somebody will ask you, where were you in your 20s? Where were you in your 30s?
I
when
was
people
being the good girl. I did everything right.
Yes,
I
exactly.
went
You
to
are
high
fit-
school.
Yes.
I went to college, and I was given my freedom in college because I wasn't living at home. I was on campus. I was in the hostels. I was careful. I didn't get pregnant. I did the right thing. I got my first internship. I got the second one. I was working. I wasn't hanging around with other people's husbands. I did the right thing. Okay.
And yet,
Here we are.
And let me tell
where's
you,
the payoff?
Oh my God. I remember one day I was in class. Someone asked me, Kwani Doris, what were you doing in campus? It's like, so you wanted me to bring my mother, a child.
you see, there's also the narrative. When you leave campus without a guy, just know
God.
That's
your
it.
chapter is closed.
Yeah.
If I wanted, I would have gotten married at 23 actually. I met this amazing man, and all he wanted was a wife. But then I said, my mother got married when she was very young. And one thing she kept telling us, she said, msikimbilia maisha sana. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And by enjoy yourself, she was telling us, know yourself.
Yeah.
Chase your dreams. You know, don't be like me who just got married. You know, and that's what they were doing. In the people who were born in the 60s, that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, there's so much to life.
Yeah.
You know, I remember like it was yesterday. I was a big girl when my mom took her first flight. And I remember saying in my heart, like, why is she old? Why is she taking a flight when she was so old?
Yeah.
Because me, I want to travel the world, you know. And I kept telling myself, no, I don't want to be bound in marriage. And that guy, we parted ways because I told him I'm not ready to get married.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
And that is one thing now when I think about it. When I was in my 30s, I regretted. I said, oh no, maybe that
you
was
should
my...
have.
But now I'm like, oh, look at me. I said no because I wanted better for myself.
Yeah.
You know? So I think the advice I would give you, because you're younger than me, it doesn't matter with how old, don't filter the noises. Filter the noises. Yes, I would have wanted to get married maybe when I'm 33, the Jesus year, you know.
Oh my God.
Yes. You know? But now after that, it didn't happen. I didn't meet the right person.
Yeah.
Sasa to do.
Yes, that's what to do. And I understand when you talk about the silent noise.
Yeah.
You go to your house.
And it's quiet.
It's quiet.
I swear, you get into your house and you keep quiet and you say nothing, even to yourself, until the
Exactly.
next day.
When
until
did you
come back
first
to-
notice it? Because I know, fine, after when you move out and you're living on your own, there's joy. You're like, now I have my space. But at what point did it turn to silence?
I didn't necessarily move out. So
Yeah.
my parents retired. I'm the last child. My mom had me when she was 35. So they had been retired for a while. So I was left in the family home. Everybody had left. So when I was 35, I started realizing the noises, and then I think it became worse during COVID. It became worse during COVID. And that time, I'm living by myself. I'm really not talking to anyone. But also, it wasn't such a big problem because I'm an introvert. So I'm okay being by myself, being alone. The time when it became loudest is when now I got COVID. That in 2022.
So you're sick.
I was sick. I had nobody to take care of me.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I had no one to take care of.
I love that it's a
Thankfully.
silver lining there.
Thankfully, but I
Yeah.
had nobody to take care of me. Obviously, my siblings will call and check up on you. My mom will call and check up on you. But I was
They're not
just
there.
by myself. And you know, when you're sick, you just want someone to pamper you, someone to see you.
Yeah.
To recognize that my person is sick, let me go home early, something like that. But it has really, like, from 2022, it really became loud. Every time I open the doors, like, okay,
No, it's
there's
silent.
nobody to say hi. I remember when my sister-in-law and her sons came to visit, my brother and his family. My brother wasn't there. And then the joy when that little 1-year-old saw, like, the joy I saw on his face when I came home and he was running to come.
Oh.
I'm like,
Yeah.
why can't I have that?
Yeah.
As in, I'm not, and the weird thing is, people think that you The older you become, you're being very picky and picky with the men, picky with the quality of men. Yes, I am picky, but it has nothing to do with money. Because thank God I have a job. It's taking care of my basic needs and I have some savings. But the kind of person that you are with is a kind person, like the quality, let me say, the quality of the person that you are with. Is he the type that is going to embarrass you in these streets of Nairobi? Is he the kind who will just abandon you? Or the kind who will say, nimeoa bas? You should just be happy that
You're married.
I'm married.
you're married. The quality of the person is very important. And I've seen my sister, not when I say sisters, my cousins, women around me did not take care of the quality of the person that they were married.
Yeah.
Because those marriages are shocking. Are shocking. And then, because when you ask questions for like, you as a reasonable person, why are you still in this horrible situation where a man is bringing for you a child after another? Literally, you have become a stepmother in your own home and you're still staying there and you're telling me, Doris, you're not married and you don't have kids, so you don't know. I'm like, actually, it's true. I don't know. It's very true. But
but you don't need extra eyes to see that that's not a situation you want to be in.
Yeah, it's not a situation we want to be in. Yes, but the rebuttal from guys who comes like, you don't have kids, so you don't know. Yeah. First go and have children, then you come and tell us.
I remember one time we traveled. We went for a holiday with another cousin of mine and another cousin of mine, and one of my cousins had a daughter. So we decided, no, you know what, we are treating ourselves. So we went to Dubai and we paid business class, and we had a really good time. So when we came back, now we met in the cousins group and we were talking and we were laughing and, we were talking about Dubai and how we were living a luxurious life. One is like, but you and her, you don't have children. So, you don't have any bills to pay. So
I kind of negates. It's like trying to tell you that, it doesn't matter just because you didn't have kids. You don't have bills to be paying.
I tell Angela, so you're belittling our experience because now we don't have bills to pay.
Funny how the same people will come and ask you, Aki, please give me urgent 20K.
Yeah.
And sorry to say.
Funny how.
I looked at her and I told her, that's so wrong.
Sick. Yeah.
That's so wrong. Everyone has and even there are people who have children and they go to
still
Dubai.
Do that, no?
Yes, they travel first class, not even business.
Yeah.
They don't even save. We saved. They wake up today. So don't use also children as an excuse. Just say you can't afford it.
No, there's a lot of bitterness that exists with
a
lot of women who find themselves living the life that they didn't expect. So for example, yes, you did that, you got married, you got kids early, and then now you feel stuck and miserable.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
And there's so many,
it happens.
unfortunately.
And that's where the hate comes from.
You see, and also...
And unrealistic expectations. Like, I have a washing machine. A washing machine right now, it's not like 10 years ago where that was, oh my God, they have a washing machine. It's luxury, rich people.
Yeah.
So now you can, with 40K, really, if you save 4 months, you can get a washing machine.
And if you keep checking, and it's not an advert, Carrefour adverts, you can get even one for very good one.
These
Carrefour
supermarkets, they have every day they have sales for these things in all these electronics shops. So one time, I remember this was a guy I was trying to see if it can go anywhere. So we're back at my house and I said, I'd forgotten. Let me just do laundry quickly and then let me put things in the wash and then as I make for you coffee. It's like, unataka kuosha manguo sahi? Sorry, I don't know what audience is.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's Kenya. Okay. Unataka kuosha manguo sahi? So like, no. I'm just going to put them in the washing machine and then I come. It's like, I think people who have washing machines are lazy.
Bro, please. Does he bend over every day to wash his own clothes then?
You know,
And even everything goes with age. Imagine
I'm
now
just
I
like,
can't
and shock on him is I have a cleaner who comes because me, I said,
yeah.
so it's like, yeah, you
But
have,
you're creating employment.
no, it's not even creating employment. Fine, I'm creating employment. I am enjoying,
Oh,
you know
your
how
life.
hard
Yeah.
we work
Yeah.
during the week.
Can you imagine
So
living
now
here to
Saturday, Sunday, niko hapo nina sugua nyumba, nina sugua
and
manguo.
I respect people who do that because I know people who do that, but that's them.
That's
It's
them.
not me.
It's like me,
Yeah.
I want the quality of my weekend
Yes.
to increase. And if that means for me having a mamafua coming to clean my house every weekend, imagine I'm gonna do it. So
Yeah.
there's a,
Yeah.
like the older you become, that this person doesn't have kids, they're not married, so they don't know what to do with their money.
You know, there's always even that notion. Somebody calls you, send me 30K urgently.
Yeah.
I'll refund you on this date.
Because you just have random
so and so
30K.
doesn't have. We want to fill in the gap of school fees. Okay.
So you now help pay some other child's
because
school fees.
now because I mean
Your
you don't
money
have
does not
it,
do
yeah?
anything.
We
else.
understand.
Yeah.
You know, Kenya is hard.
Yeah.
Life right now is hard. If you told me in January that in April we are going to need school fees,
Yeah.
please can you help? I can say, okay, how much is the school fees? School fees is 30,000. I can give 15 or I can give 7. Imagine be happy with the amount I give you.
It's no obligation. You're not obligated to do that.
Like if you earn, and it's in terms of percentages, if you earn 100,000 shillings and then someone is asking you for 10,000, you're asking for 10% of that person's income.
Yeah.
And it's just the level of entitlement, that people have on us, unpartnered or unmarried women. Because you're not married, you're supposed to be more compassionate and supposed to help even more.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Because, where is your money
don't
going?
know, you don't know where my money is going. It's not that I came from, if I dropped from the sky. I also have family. I have parents that we need to take care of.
Yeah.
And we send money those ways. I have a home that I need to take care of. I have a car that I need to fuel. I have bills I need to pay. I am taking personal development courses. My money is committed.
That you have earned for yourself.
Is committed.
All this boils down to because you don't have a child.
Yeah.
And you see also, it gets a point in life because also what society has hammered in our heads, you get to 35 and you're like, oh, that's it. I'm not even going to meet anyone. I'm going to end up alone, you know. And
your
then
eggs have died.
And then now they start, so you just get one child. Just get one child.
Yeah, that's
that's the thing.
But I was being told by one of my relatives, like, yeah, just get a child.
Yes.
So with whoever, just go outside, do
Fuck
whatever you
around.
need to do,
Get pregnant.
get a child, and then
That's
your
it.
life will be great.
That's it.
But let
You'll
me
be
tell you,
fulfilled when you have a
the
child.
other day I went to the IVF center here in Nairobi, and then you're looking at the brochure, and you're like, oh, you know what? Some of these things that happen in this country, like if you come with your own sperm, it's this amount. If you get a sperm donor, it's this amount. So I asked the lady at the reception, people actually come for this service? Oh, a lot of them.
Wow. So they come to get donor sperm.
You know, I was baffled.
Yeah.
Like, it does actually happen in this
So,
country.
you know, the weird thing is, if you reach a certain age, there's, why haven't you gotten pregnant? You're not pregnant because you had a series of abortions, which is something I've been told. I've had very many abortions. That's why I can't get a baby. That's why, like, if I could get a baby, I'd have a baby right now. Right?
Okay.
I said, okay.
Okay.
But it is also people who are married who are coming to look for sperm donors. Like your guy has for one reason or another, he cannot get you pregnant or he cannot get any woman pregnant. So to cover his shame, we both, the two of you
come to an
and that happened to one of my best friends. Like they went to the clinic together with the husband and
To get donor sperm.
and the doctor told the guy that you cannot get a woman pregnant. So the other solution was to cover the guy's shame, is because it is shameful apparently, to get a sperm donor. And they boiled down to this height. These are the things that This
Wow.
is the age. This is the height.
So in a way
This is-
that the baby would look kind of similar to the guy.
So now I understand, because I found myself actually sorry, but I laughed because I was like, oh, why would I want a stranger in my body? You know? And then I didn't think of it in those terms because I've had friends who've decided to have children. And you just talk to one of your friends, like, oh, I would want to have a baby with you. And like, oh, okay, fine. And they have a child, because
But no
this person. They're
relationship.
no relationship. This person, their background, the way you're saying, your mother was like, oh, unajua watu wa huko kwao. So you are like, their history. But now when you bring it that, because now this is a married woman, of course they have to come into an agreement, and then you can't go and find someone they both know, because they'll be like, oh, huyu mtoto ni wa nani. So maybe I didn't look at it from that viewpoint.
And for you, because you've talked about IVF and stuff like that, what's been your journey of trying to get a baby? When did you now I want to start doing this?
Let me tell you something. Let me not lie to you. I started last year, but I think it's now you're like, oh, now I'm ready for it to happen.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
So for me, my gyna was like, oh, why are you worried? What is? I think also because I had fibroids, so there's always that thing at the back of my mind, like the stigma that is brought by saying you have fibroids and the fact that you went to the theater, and so there's always that fear. So for me, I think it's also for me internally, the way they're saying now, because my partner, sometimes I'm like, oh, does this guy know how old I am? Because him is not worried. Like, this is gonna happen.
So your gyna is not worried. Your partner is not worried.
And I'm like, oh,
you're the one in a bucket full of worry.
Thank you. I want to be very honest, because my gyna is like, oh, stop
worrying.
This, and I'm like over my head, like, oh. So my issue is because of this fibroid thing, because even before I went for it, it took me 2 years to make the decision, because you're like, oh no, they could mess up your uterus, they could, and that time you're bleeding. That thing is not a joke, Now at least the word is no longer shame. People can talk about it anywhere. Somebody can say, even me, I have. Before, no one wanted to talk about it. Because I remember even when I went for the operation, I went like a thief. Like very few people knew. And I told them, because, anything can happen to you.
Theater,
And even when I left my recovery journey, I didn't want to stay in the house. I wanted to show people that I'm okay. But at that time, you're
suffering because that's major surgery.
Let me tell you
can't just be
something.
walking
There's
around.
one night I almost died.
Yeah.
Because, the way, when you listen to advice from people, you're given a lot of medication to manage the pain. So my friend came and looked at the medication I was taking, and she told me, if you're not careful, you're going to be addicted to these things. God. So I'm like, what do I do? Start removing one by one. She's not a doctor. She's nothing. So I'm like, how do I do it? Make sure lunchtime you don't take. In the evening, then before do you know the fool I am?
You would do that. Yeah.
Because you don't want to be addicted.
Yes. I remember I was staying at a relative's house, and I have not taken the medication, and I'm like, I'm getting okay. Then the pain started, and it was in the middle of the night. And the way you're saying, I'm going to manage myself until morning, I started sweating. So I remember I literally crawled to her bedroom and knocked. So luckily the husband was watching TV. It was like 2 or 3 a.m. So it's like, so they thought it's one of their babies. It's like, so and so is that? And I'm like, no, it's Cecilia. So he woke up my friends, like, like, go and find out what could be the problem. The minute she opened the door, she was like, what is happening? I told her something is not right. So she's like, what did you eat? Now, now she's working with me, like, what did you eat? Yes. Yeah. Then I'm like, I didn't take my medication. You should have, she was, she's trying to be angry. So she gave me something to eat, because now, when you're told by a doctor, just take. Yeah. So you see all that I didn't want to talk about. And then there's the stigma so after some time, I remember one of my cousins went through the same thing, but now the gyna who did it didn't do a very good job, messed with one of her tubes. It's like, please go for a check, because maybe you don't even have a uterus.
Oh,
guys,
my God.
It was hell. By the time I made a decision to go and
just check,
it took me another 3 years.
To just
And you know,
check.
I didn't do it because I wanted. I went for an MRI. You know, an MRI. There's
Yeah.
some things they can tell you after. You know, so I'm like, okay. So now it got me the courage to go and say, oh no, you know, I had fibroids. I need to go and check. So they're like, oh no, you're okay. You're just okay. But they're back again. You know, those things. They're like, I think the minute you step out of the theater, they come back again.
Yeah.
Or you know, yeah. So all that stigma. So that's why you find I'm so worried. I'm like, oh, is this gonna happen?
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know,
it's
and as I
fair.
tell you, my partner, yeah, it's gonna happen. You don't worry.
You know, the weird thing is, if you look at us who are speaking now on this podcast, if you look at us outside, you'll say, oh my God, so wonderful, confident women. You can't
Yeah.
shake them. And we are shaking.
You're
please.
shaking. Yeah,
We
because
are
there's
shaking.
a lot.
There's a lot.
And you know, every time my friend got pregnant, we were together in campus, and you know, it was an oops baby. And I remember asking her, "You just went and slept and you got pregnant at our age?" He's like, "I mean, big deal. It's happening. Kwani, what is the issue?" That time in my head, I'm like, "Okay, there's hope for me," because you know,
Yeah.
you know, there's
Yeah,
the issue of the
yeah.
ovarian reserve.
Yes.
You're told you get a certain point, the egg dies, and,
yes.
and it doesn't. Recover.
And then you're born with finite eggs.
Yeah, you're born with finite eggs.
So you're like, so they're ending. Every period, it's going.
But you guys,
And I don't have a child yet.
a woman, it's
Now, for in my case,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily, it's a hormonal imbalance. It's not
Mm.
PCOS. So my period doesn't come every month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So the doctor really told me, you're going to have a hard time getting pregnant. I was like, oh, dear.
Oh, wow. So
You know,
that's
so-
now added there.
yes.
Okay. I
So,
was
so
like,
here we are looking
so-
for a quality man. And then now you've also now told me
Juana,
that.
I just it's too much. It's too much. So
me-
there's the outside voices
Yeah.
that everybody is having, is
Yeah.
giving you. And then there's now, because you listen to your doctor and you're listening to qualified advice. Mimi mpaka nimekunywa mitishamba.
You've done everything.
Me too.
I've done everything.
Ah.
I've done
And
What's the
everything.
craziest thing that you feel like you've done to ensure your fertility?
Let me tell you something. The craziest thing I've ever done. I called an auntie of mine who lives in Kampala. Do you know she sent some mitishamba in form of a liquid from Kampala? You guys.
Na ukakunywa?
And nikakunywa. And then the first 2 days, that thing was taking me on another level. You know, me, I don't vomit.
Yeah.
I rarely get sick.
Yeah.
You know, the first day I took, you know, you start feeling funny. And then I went and lied down. And then because also I was born a kachabi baby.
Yeah.
I've always been weight loss diets since I can remember. Because unapita hivi relative anasema naka nikanono. So, you know, you start getting
Easy
inside.
masauti.
Yes. So I have been on weight loss. So also that one, I have denied myself a lot of nutrients along the way without knowing.
Yeah.
So now this fertility, one thing the doctor told me, you have to eat. You have no choice. So my first meal would be at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. because that's how I was used. Now there's this dawa. So first of all, I'm not a morning person. So I wake up. I live alone. I'm not a fan of cooking, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Nah. Kwanza cooking for myself. So I'm there. I'm like, now you're looking for something healthy to eat, first of all.
Yeah.
I don't like bread. So you have to make sure you have sweet potatoes, which
Yeah.
God knows where you find them nowadays. So I drank some tea, and then I took the dawa. I went and slept. You know, the way you wake up, you're like, oh, something is not right. So the first day it passed. The second day I took a smoothie, and then I took the dawa. Guys.
Oh.
You know, I woke up like this. I ran to the bathroom to throw up. I told myself, oh no, it's reacting to something. Maybe it's the celery which was in my smoothie.
Or not the odd thing that has come from Kampala. Okay.
The next day, I did the same thing. Guys, you know, have you ever pooped to a point where it's bile that is coming? You know, like now your system is. So those are some of the craziest things I've done, you know. And being the Christian I am, sometimes you find you're asking God, why me?
Wait, yeah.
You know, why me?
Yeah.
I kept myself all those years. You've brought this man. Why can't it just be a walk? I know the other day I was reading my journal, my 2016 journal. I'm like, oh God, please give me, like when I want a child, let it be a walk in the park. You know, because I know my stamina. I don't have
They
that.
didn't tell you how big the park is.
It is a walk, but it's like it's a big
How
hilly.
big is
And
this
then
You should have been specific.
I was showing her my supplements the other day. You know, you walk because you know, like this.
and you know, honestly, right now we're doing everything. Okay, so you want? Okay, so they say, okay, now before you get pregnant, you have to prepare your body. to get pregnant. So
preconception.
you're working, you're taking folic acid, and you're so guys. Why are you taking folic acid? Like, please, you don't know.
I know.
You don't know my problems. Okay?
Yes.
And we're laughing. We're
Yeah,
laughing.
but
But this is this is our everyday reality until that child comes. Some people have been telling God, please, when this child comes, I don't. Already we have been classified past the age of 35. Your pregnancies are certified or regarded as geriatric pregnancies.
That name already usually sounds like it's like the hardest. Why does it sound like a dinosaur? You know, like it's such a hard
because
word.
you know what a geriatric person is.
You know, it's such a hard word, and you're young, but in society and everything that's said past 35, you're
That's
an
it.
old.
That's it.
Might
And
as well
nobody
be a
ever
desert.
says, and nobody ever tells you that also past a certain age, the quality of the sperm of your guy also lowers.
But let me tell you something. The
They'll never
patriarchy.
tell you that.
Let me give you. So when we decided now, this is what we want. So I'm like, oh no, we need to go and see the gyna so they can advise. So he's like, oh, do we really need a gyna? I'm like, oh yeah, it's important we go. So he's like, oh, okay, let's go. So how old are you? He asked him. I'm 42. You're a young man. You've got your whole life ahead of you. Do you know when it came to me? How old are you? I'm 40. You are running out of time. And you could,
Excuse me, there's just about a 2-year difference between the two
Yeah,
of us.
yeah.
I'm like, oh,
So-
how can you even say that in front of? And then you know, my partner looks at me. He's not a PDA person, and then he just stretches his hand and touches me and tells me, "I know we have time." Yeah. So
Yeah,
what is
'cause
your
he's
advice?
trying
Because
to
you,
just-
you know, you could see
Unachemka.
he was trying
Unachemka.
to manage me. But funny enough, you know what I did? Me, I actually burst out laughing because I'm like, what happened to professionalism? Like,
Yeah.
how
No
dare you?
professionalism.
And you could tell he was so disturbed. You're running out of time. We are running out of time.
Yeah,
So-
especially when a doctor tells you, Kwani, what were you waiting for?
So I
Oh, you're like, no, bruv, I was just sitting over there the whole entire
I
time.
know.
And it had just hit me right now that I
That
want.
I need to have a baby, right?
Yeah,
now.
right now. That's why I've brought myself here.
So, but life is funny because I met a friend of mine. We went to high school. She got a baby immediately. We finished high school. In fact, she was kicked out of home because the dad was a professor. You know what is expected of you.
Yeah.
So the other day we met and we were having lunch. And she's like, "Oh, you're having babies at the right time." Let me tell you something. The things my son has shown me. So now is when she's telling me even the things he does. I don't find myself crying like I used to cry because I know how to manage them.
Yeah.
But you tell me, Celia, you are forced to grow up. She had to move in with a relative. So there is
No, you lose. One thing they don't really tell you is that you lose your youth.
exactly.
Once that baby comes, at whatever, especially these early years of like between 19 to 24, you've lost your youth.
But
you've
that's true.
had been forced to grow up.
To grow up, yeah.
You've been forced to grow up, and you can create this self-resentment in yourself, right? And that's why you hash everybody and bash everyone who seems to have done the things that maybe you should have.
I've done.
But you're not given. Sometimes you're not even given the. I remember there's an episode I was doing with a friend of mine who doesn't want kids, and I told her, I've never even asked myself that question. If I want the kids, I just found myself there.
Yeah.
Did I ever sit down and be like, you know what? Maybe I need some time to do this. No, I was told. Follow the mutaratara.
Yes.
And then you get your child. And then now I sat down and I realized this is why a lot of mothers, especially young mothers,
Have
get a bit
anger towards their
depressed and
children, yeah.
anger. Because you're like, you came,
when I was not ready.
I was not ready.
And that's a conversation. Okay, because now, the algorithm.
Yeah.
So every time I'm on my Instagram, just pregnant women, about babies, blah, 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 blah. And then another lady was like, if she could do it again, she would never have a child at 18.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means to be young. because when my friends,
have it.
like were having gap years, I couldn't.
She's
And,
changing diapers.
because you could tell by a conversation she lives in the US. There, it's not like here where parents will tell you, bring the child we raised for them, go to school. No, honey, you've decided you're on your own. She said, I love my child very much, and that made her not have children because she said no.
Yeah.
Any other children?
Yes.
Yeah.
So now she's saying, I'm living the life that I would have lived then. But you see also this society is very strange. You go on the same platform, you find somebody who's having a baby at 19 and people are like, oh, you're doing the right thing. You will never regret it. No. Even don't have a child at 25. What do you know at 25?
No, you don't.
At 25, we had not even moved out.
Your prefrontal cortex.
Yeah.
You're still so young.
Yeah.
And then
So young. And the moment at our age, if you see a young girl in a relationship, I'm like, oh, me, yes, we want to have a baby. I'm like, don't do that. But even if you say, you're really trying to say out of the goodness of your heart, it's like me, as literally, kuishi kwingi ni kuangana mengi. And those are things that we used to despise. Someone tells you, I'm telling you, I'm giving you this advice because I've lived long on this earth.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I don't want to hear.
what do you know?
Yeah.
What do you know? Or your advice is obsolete, or you're jealous because you're old and you don't have kids. And you're like, I have seen what a teenage pregnancy can do.
Yeah.
I have seen what a young pregnancy can do.
And then they say
And
you grew up together.
even
As you grow up together.
even
All three
you
of
are
you
the
with
mother.
child.
You're not supposed to grow up together.
Even when, babes, that you have a child and your mom accepts or your parents accept to raise a child, that's their child now. So now I have a friend who, she took the child back home. The mom decided, okay, fine, I'll raise this child. So she was out there hustling all over East Africa, hustling. And then she was now financially in a position where, okay, now let me go home and take my child. And the kid was around 8-9 years old. The fight between her and her own mother over her child was massive.
And then, that's the other thing that we don't see is this kids, right? This formative stage of theirs, they need you there.
Exactly.
They need you there. So if you're not, then they will identify with whoever. And to be honest, they'll grow up always yearning for that. They'll always be like this.
And I also would not want to put my mother in that situation. Maybe I'm saying that because now I'm this age. Because the other day we were with my mom and then some friends of ours. A friend of ours had been to Australia and she had been there for 6 months because their daughter had given birth. 7 months. So now the friend was telling her like, oh, I am tired. Even I don't want to hear the baby over crying next to me. Because you see now she was doing everything for her grandchild. Yeah. Of course it's love and all that.
Yeah, but...
And then my mother just told me, like, oh, hey, me, there are things I can't go through.
Ushamaliza.
Niliambiwa usinilete mtoto.
And
she said...
Don't take me back there.
As in she wants to be the grandma for just seeing the kids around.
Yeah.
And I can't
but not
taking care of the kids.
And we shouldn't expect them
and
to.
I can't imagine doing that to my mother.
Yeah.
I mean, she's in her 60s.
Yeah.
The least I can do is buy a bottle of wine and we sit and laugh. And she's just changing my baby's diaper. No.
Let me ask you guys a final question. Okay. Do you think you'd be okay if it never happens?
I would not.
Same to me.
I would.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
It has to happen.
It has to happen.
Like, there is no two way about it. They say, oh, look at it this way.
Everybody tells you,
if it doesn't
consider
happen,
adoption. Is like,
And let me tell you something. The society doesn't like the truth.
Yeah.
Everything requires grace.
Yes.
Everything requires grace.
Yeah.
I admire everyone who has adopted a child because they have a grace which I don't have the same grace. Yes, I don't have the same grace. Because I remember someone telling me like, oh, why don't you, when I was 35, just adopt a child. And I was like, oh, have you seen the children my sister has? Like, yes, she's married. We will raise them. The three of us then. Yes. No, me, it has to happen. Like, not even for my partner. I mean, he has a child.
Yeah. But for you.
But for...
You, I mean, there are women who, and I can already hear if there's a clip of this that's going to hit the internet. It's like, You see, women over 35, they all desperately want kids.
Yeah,
Don't be lied to.
very
Not
desperate.
everybody does.
Yeah.
It's just that the two women in
Yes.
this
that I
room
have here today.
Thank you for
yeah,
making
the
that
two
very,
women
very
in this
clear.
room
Yes, it's
do
not a
want
representation
children.
of
Yeah, we
everyone.
do
Yeah.
want children, and we are actively working towards
yeah.
having children. That being said, we're not just gonna have sex with anyone.
Yeah.
We're not gonna just have sex with anyone. We're just not gonna have a baby with anyone. And I think that the I was telling her over our conversations, the thing that you need to realize is because of how we've seen men move, and I applaud and I'm really I really admire the men who take an active role in raising and parenting their kids, because there's a whole lot of married single parents in this world. Like it's just the mom who's
So
doing
many.
everything.
Yep.
So many.
100%.
So the guys, the gentlemen who would take an active role in going to school for parent-teacher days, waking up at night to feed that baby, waking up to take care of that sick baby, or just hanging out with the kid, whatever age,
Yep.
6 months, 6 years, 16 years, whatever, the kind of parent who's present, kind of father who's present, it's not rare. I had that. My dad was present. I've told my friends most of the time, my mom barely knew the school I went to.
Wow.
Like my mom took me to school once. She takes
so your
me.
dad, yeah.
My dad was the one who was there for every parent-teacher day, every opening day, every closing day. My dad picked me up until university. He took me.
Wow.
My mom took me for the first day to uni when I went to find my hostel. But after that, it was my dad who picked me from uni and dropped me. First day, closing day. It was my dad. Visiting day, it was my dad. Parent-teacher day, it was my dad.
Yeah.
When I was doing Kenya Music Festivals, it was my dad. My father was present. My dad literally, like where you're seated right across, I'll be seated over here. When I'm doing homework, 10 o'clock, my dad is there reading a book, reading newspaper to make sure that I'm like, you need my dad right now is what? He's 80. If I tell my dad, Daddy, I want this book, Daddy will go and find it. I remember when I was in the village, I told my dad, Dad, you're going to Nini town. Can you get me a biscuit? Which biscuit? I said, any. The guy came back with a carton. His daughter is 38.
Yeah, but it's
he came back and was like, hey, my child, that's for biscuit.
I'm bringing her biscuits.
And I'm bringing the damn biscuit. so and I really, would it be great to have a child with a guy who has money? Of course. Money stops a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
But if you have a dad who knows, my child doesn't eat blueband, doesn't like bananas, doesn't mind the taste of bananas, but hates the smell of banana peels.
Yeah, the intricacies of the
That's the
details.
kind of father I have. I understand that I might not have, I would want that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I understand right now that I might not be with the father of my child, should I get a child, or who I get a child with. Life goes different ways. That you might
never
not
know.
be.
Yeah.
You might be a single parent, but it would be really nice if that my co-parent is interested in that child as well. And I'm not, how do I put it? My expectations for the father of my child are actually very high.
Yeah, because you grew up.
I grew up with a great dad.
great dad.
We were not rich. I grew up with a
fantastic
great
dad. Yeah.
I grew, and I feel it would be unfair if I denied my child that.
Yeah.
There's always that feeling. But I think as we come to a close, if there's anyone who is in our space, who is going through the same thing, I think one of the things that has really been making me sane throughout this journey is calming my nerves. Because there are times I would go to sleep and I'm looking at my partner sleeping so comfortably. And I'm like, dude, we're trying to have a child. Like, he's comfortable. So also, okay, I don't know about the narrative. Until you relax is when it happened. I'm not done that bullshit.
You're not relaxed. That's
I mean, the situation
There's
is not
no way
relaxing.
it's not a
Situation
relaxing
is not
situation. How do you
I'll
get
be
relaxed?
relaxed when I start hearing something moving in my
Yeah.
stomach, or
And if I
the cry of a child.
telling-
That's when I'll be relaxed.
I had traveled. I just went to a pharmacy. I bought this the pregnancy test, Clear Blue.
Mm.
You know, these things can tell you're pregnant 5 days later. Because I don't want to keep worrying like, oh, maybe it has happened, maybe it has not happened. But anyway, what I would say is just try and do as much as you can to calm yourself down.
Yeah.
It is your journey, you know, as an individual, it is your journey.
Yeah.
You know, and also because someone was also telling me like, well, at your age, don't you think it's also selfish to try and have a child now?
Okay, because what's wrong with them?
Yeah, I was told that you will die before your child. Okay, that is the prayer
But
of every
it's-
parent.
yeah, but
you
it's
want
not
your
what
child to
will
bury you,
happen.
but I was told that you will die when your child is still young, and I'm like, why are you wishing death for me?
Yeah, exactly.
What's wrong with you?
And I realized this concept is not just locally. Even when Kourtney Kardashian got pregnant, she's 44 now, or is it 45? It's like, oh, how dare she? She's gonna be 60 what when the child is legal and all that. Anyway, I would say
like, so what
it is,
Yeah.
it is your journey.
Yeah.
What has made me sane also this time is my spirituality.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you wake up and you are like, oh God, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
It's not
yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
There are times I wake up and I tell God, I'm literally losing it. You know,
Yeah.
like, please, you know.
I agree with you.
Yes.
Prayer has really for
Yes.
me, prayer has really helped me. And you know, when you talk about prayer, people think you're going, Heavenly Father, I thank you.
The fervent,
the fervent prayer.
yeah.
And sometimes I wake up and literally it's on my Bible app. My prayer is, okay, God, what the actual fuck? That is. We are good. Let's talk
Let's talk.
Let's
Let's
what
talk.
the fuck? is
Yeah,
happening?
yeah.
And I'm going to need you to give me answers. And I feel like those are some of the most honest and earnest prayers that I've had, aside from
The raw and vulnerable.
they're raw and vulnerable, and I'm not performing spirituality.
yeah.
I'm not like, I'm trying, because I'm Christian and I believe in God, and I have to find a way to connect with my spirituality in a way that makes sense to me, in a way that when I'm asking for these things, or I'm asking for direction on where life is going, or hope, or I'm putting a request towards God for this child and this partner, I'm going to speak in a way that makes sense to me. But also, my spirituality has really, my relationship with God, it has really helped me. It has really, really helped me. And that's the thing that has been keeping me sane.
Yeah, and whatever you know, whatever you believe in, because, you know, some things are beyond us, you know. You've done A, B, C, D. And then you also look at couples who've been trying for years.
Yeah.
They got married in their early 30s. You think it is easy for them. At least us, we can decide, say, okay, us, we decided late, you know.
but
Can you
these guys
imagine
are
how, you
married.
know, look at your sister. You can't imagine what journey she was going
Litwa tasa.
through. Yes.
Literally.
So me, I believe it will happen.
It will
at
happen.
some point.
No,
and
it will
then
happen,
and the
guys.
next episode, we're going to talk about...
That's what I was saying. I was like, it would be great for the next update
Yes.
to have crying babies up in here and just being like,
Yes.
I'll be like, how's your sleepless nights?
I'll welcome
You know, do
it,
you
'cause
miss
right
the
now
silent house?
Yeah.
I'm like, do you wish sometimes it's just, but you know, the crazy thing
Yeah.
about it, even when the kids are there, yeah, and then you keep craving this time where you're alone and whatever. We were alone, away from the kids for a week. Most miserable time.
Serious.
I remember I went into the house and I was like, is this house usually this big? You even start turning on all the lights. You're like, I need this. You know, we traveled to Cape Town every minute, like the grandmother. Can we see a picture of? Can we do this? You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is, it's this life. You can never. It's
and
never. It goes either way.
It goes either way, because some of my friends keep telling me, sleep now, because when they
Yeah,
come...
but how much sleep will you have?
Thank you. How much sleep will you have?
Sleep, good.
And you know, the other day when I
Only
went to my
could bank
sister's
it.
house, the husband was like, before you know it, these children will be out. Let them make as much noise, because one day we'll wake up and be like, I so-and-so called you. I called them yesterday and they didn't pick my phone. Because the way they say, I might not have experienced, but it's true. They grow up so fast.
Yeah,
No, they do.
Yes.
They do. Close your eyes and it's done.
Yeah.
Fine, you weren't sleeping for a while and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, that was a full night. What happened?
Yes.
The babies have moved on. But yes, definitely, ladies, thank you so much for being here and sharing
you for
as
having
much
us.
as you have. I know you're on very difficult journeys, but I think it will all be worth it. Like I said, updates.
Update, yeah.
Let's get
We
to it.
hope, we pray.
Mark
We pray.
kilio hapa na pale. You're like, unataka.
And
you need some nursing
if you
pads.
have tips of making us relax,
Yeah, I don't know how you tell an unrelaxed woman to
or
relax.
if you have
That's
the
the worst.
supermarket for husbands and men that are reasonable.
if you're not relaxed, oh God, no, don't.
It's the worst thing you can tell
If
someone.
you have that supermarket, tell us.
Yeah. Tuma.
I'll go and pay.
I can put it in the description box. She's looking for. If you look like this, call this number. We'll be waiting for that. Sorry, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for listening to this conversation to the very end. I want to truly appreciate my guests for letting us into their world, and I will be more than happy to have them on again to share updates in their journeys towards motherhood. For more conversations on this and a myriad of topics around motherhood, please visit our website, mamatilspodcast.com, or the link in the description of this episode to sign up to our mailing list and join our community. You can also find this podcast on TikTok and Instagram under the username @mamatilspodcast, or catch up with me on my personal handle @salimogore. In other news, if you are a frequent listener to this podcast, I'm sure you have noticed some irregularities in the posting schedule. I recently got a massive career opportunity that has seen more of my time committed to it and has made showing up here weekly a bit difficult. However, the show continues, and I will work on a 2-week schedule instead, which should be easier to manage. I hope you can understand that. And please know that I am still very much committed to this podcast and the space around it. That is not going to be changing anytime soon. Okay, catch you in a couple of weeks. Bye.